Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and before the Holiday Cup did end, I did want to feature some battles of the team that I've been running in the Holiday Cup. This team has worked exceedingly well for me. It's allowed me to gain 600 points in 5 days, and I am now approaching Expert. And I did want to give a brief shout out to the team's creator, GYRO. He's a fantastic content creator, and I will have a link to his channel down in the description. Definitely check him out. He makes absolutely amazing lines. And the line that he has come up with here is ALOLAN SANDSLASH, which features the normal moveset, except instead of Bulldoze, it's running Gyro Ball. We have Drift Blim, and we have Altaria. So it's a double flyer strategy, and it's worked phenomenally well for me. So without further ado, let's hop into these battles. As we hop into the first match here, you are going to see how I play one of the toughest possible leads, and that is going to be Vigoroth. Vigoroth does double super effective damage, so I instantly safe swap into Altaria, and they have a really hard punish in Wigglytuff. So you might think that I have already lost the game, but no. We actually still have a good chance here. They're going to be able to farm me all the way down, but I have a really good answer for Wigglytuff in ALOLAN SANDSLASH, so I am going to wait out my switch clock and come in with ALOLAN SANDSLASH. Wigglytuff cannot threaten me with any charge moves, so I have no need to shield, and since it charges extremely slowly, I should be able to build up to 2 Ice Punches and then throw an Ice Punch to take them out. This achieves 2 things. It gives me loaded energy, which is going to be useful endgame, and it allows me to burn the switch clock so I can switch into Drift Blim on Vigoroth. And they counter with a Unova Stunfisk, and this is going to be difficult because they appear to have me hard countered, but if you remember, I do have some energy stored. And I can debuff with Drift Blim. So my goal is I'm going to shield the first 2 discharges and keep debuffing them with the goal of being able to take both of their shields and landing 1 Icy Wind. So you can see I do get to land, and I've taken 1 of those shields. So I am going to be shielding this next one up, and then I am going to be throwing to get their second shield, because this would come close to KOing. So I'm going to throw, get the second shield, and then as soon as I do, instant swap into Sandslash and make that energy useful. This energy isn't very useful versus Vigoroth, but very useful against Stunfisk. That kills Stunfisk. Vigoroth can come back in and farm me down, that's fine. Drift Blim has a commanding matchup over Vigoroth, so at this point the game is won. There is basically nothing this Vigoroth can do to Drift Blim to take me out. I can just keep tanking charge moves and keep debuffing it with Icy Wind, because all of its charge moves are double resisted, whereas I'm able to hit for neutral with my charge moves. So even though it is a very slow and tedious matchup, I am going to be able to win. So as you can see, even with one of the hardest possible counter teams that you could think of, which is Stunfisk being able to do super effective damage to Drift Blim, Vigoroth being able to do double super effective damage to ALOLAN SANDSLASH, and Wigglytuff being able to do super effective damage to Altaria, we are still able to get the win. Heading into the next game here, leading Sandslash into Skarmory. This is more of a neutral matchup, although they are running Steel Wing, so this is less good, as Steel Wing is going to be able to do neutral, as opposed to Air Slash typically being resisted. They're going to safe swap into Obstagoon. Obstagoon is not great for our team, but we do have a pretty good answer for it in Altaria. We are going to let the first couple Night Slashes through, just in case they do get the boost. We want to shield boosted Night Slashes rather than unboosted Night Slashes. No boost, thankfully. They are able to go for a second one, and now we're going to go for the Sky Attack. And this is going to be able to pressure that first shield, because they really don't want to go down. And charge move coming through. Now this one we are going to shield, because we want to see if we can get both shields off of them, and that way we'll be in a good position to close end game. And this should be getting that second shield, and my opponent actually does decide to try and farm down, which is a bit of a mistake because they're able to do so, but they're on 1 HP. So with just 1 Powder Snow from Sandslash registering as they throw the charge move, I can shield this up, and then the Obstagoon with all that energy actually does go down. So now I'm in a really good spot to close endgame. They bring out Vigoroth, I bring out Drift Blim. And the problem with Steel Wing is it doesn't charge very quickly, so I'm able to outpace it, get to a Shadow Ball, which is going to be more than enough to take out the Skarmory, and from here the Vigoroth has no play against the Drift Blim and resigns the match. And that's actually part of why the creator of this line did include Drift Blim. Drift Blim is the hardest answer to a Vigoroth safe swap, which is very common in this meta. So by having Drift Blim, you can absolutely destroy the Vigoroth safe swap, which is very common in this cup. As you can see, another Obstagoon safe swap, but this time they get the boost. So this is not looking good. We are going to go for the Sky Attack and of course get the shield, but since we didn't shield the first one, we can start committing shields down the road. This time I actually do decide to let it go, and I'm going to see if they do want to commit another shield. And I'm going to need to shield this one up, but at this point I should be in a pretty good spot to get this second shield, and then I may have to take them out with Drifblim, but since I'll have a shield advantage, that shouldn't be an issue. Coming in with Drifblim, I am going to have to shield a Night Slash. I do shield this up, as that would do so much after being boosted. And they do a very nice swap onto their Drifblim. So very nice play there. Gets the Icy, and here I catch an Icy right back onto Sandslash. So I'm able to return the favor. That's going to do nothing, and from here I can really safely Powder Snow down. And now they don't really want to bring back in the Obstagoon, as I would be able to take them out. And they bring out a Whimsicott, which also doesn't have a great matchup. I'm over farming by a bunch, up to 2 Ice Punches. First Ice Punch is going to finish off the Whimsicott, and then the second one is for that Obstagoon. So even with an Obstagoon getting the boost, we were still able to get control of the match back and win the game. So as you can see, this line is quite strong and very flexible against a wide variety of teams. Hopping into the next match against Ryota de Chango, and we pick up a Whimsicott lead. This is absolutely fantastic. Whimsicott cannot touch us. They safe swap Marowak. We're going to counter with Altaria. And Altaria is just, in general, a really good counter for most everything that isn't Charm or Ice. So we kind of use it as our default response whenever they swap something in that isn't a Vigoroth. Sky Attack is going to land, and we know our IVs on our Altaria. We can survive 2 Shadow Bones so long as we didn't get the defense debuff, which we did not. So we're able to farm down and win in the Zero Shield. That's where having familiarity with your team is super helpful. We're going to come in with Drifblim now, and we should be in a good spot. We are going to match shields, of course, so we're going to shield when they throw, and then we're going to go with our Icy Winds. And just based off of debuffs, we are going to be able to take this match versus the Haunter and consequently take the game. As you can see, those hexes are really starting to add up. We are going to commit this shield against the Shadow Punch, and they swap in the Whimsicott, so we counter with the Sandslash. And rather than go for the nuke, we are building up quite a bit of energy because we're expecting a shield, and actually no shield there. So we are going to go straight for the Ice Punch to pressure the shield, and then they are forced to throw because we are going to get to an Ice Punch. It's a CMP tie. We'll see if the Shadow Punch KOs. It does not, and so our Ice Punch is going to be more than enough to take out the extraordinarily squishy Haunter and give us the game. Although, looks like we had some lag here, so we'll see if it actually registers. Hey, it does! What do you know? And we're able to take the game. Fantastic. Alright, and hopping into the next match here. Okay. Against PokePilgrim. And here, again, it's a fairly neutral lead. Vigoroth safe swap, Drifblim. Vigoroth cannot do a thing in this matchup. It's absolutely helpless. Body slams are double resisted. Bulldozes are double resisted. Sometimes you can even see the fear in your opponent when they start throwing bulldozes, being like, well, something has to be better than body slam. It's not. It's just that hard of a counter. You can see spamming out body slams, and those are doing nothing. I have to commit no shield. So how I like to play this is I like to go for 2 Icy Winds, and then I usually try and farm up to around 100 energy right before the switch timer comes up. They bring back in the Skarmory, and we're going straight for the Shadow Ball. So here, this is going to do a ton of damage or pressure a shield. Ooh, that connects, does a ton of damage, and we switch back into the Sandslash. And now we're going straight for an Ice Punch. This will be doing some nice chunk damage. Doesn't quite take it out. We are going to let this go because we don't want to preserve health on a Pokemon that's going to be absolutely obliterated by Vigoroth. So we are going to farm down, and we're fully expecting Vigoroth to come back with a vengeance. Vigoroth does come back, and they throw. And since it's very low, we're going to shield up the Bulldoze and go for the Ice Punch so we can preserve some health just because it's normally it is very, very low. What's in back? A Diggersby. We're in a good spot. We're going to be able to spam out these Ice Punches, and Diggersby can't really do much against Altaria. So we're going to force them to throw, which we did. We're going to let this go. Then we're going to come in with Altaria, and I'm fully expecting them to resign the match. Comes in with Altaria, and they do resign the match. So a good game to my opponent there. As you can see, Drifblim, incredibly hard punish to the Vigoroth safe swap, which is very, very common. It's one area where this team really does shine. As you can see, that was a part of a 5-0 set to hit the upper 2600s. Up this match here, and we pick up an incredibly good lead versus Wigglytuff. Most people don't know that we're running Gyro Ball, and Gyro Ball does exceedingly well against the ice types and fairies in the meta. As you can see, absolutely crushes Wigglytuff. They safe swap into Munchlax, so that almost killed, but it didn't quite. So they actually did swap out. So now I'm really safe to bring in my Altaria, and at this point, switch advantage isn't excessively important to me. Like, we can keep it if need be, but since we've already absolutely decimated one of their Pokemon, and Altaria is going to be able to get this Munchlax very low, at this point, the game is basically over, thankfully enough. We are going to commit a shield just because we do have a lot of energy, so we can farm down and throw at what's probably going to be that Wigglytuff coming back in. Wigglytuff does come back in, and we're going to go for the Sky Attack just so it can't register any charms. Skarmory comes in, and from here we're in a really good spot. And we are actually going to commit the shield here, because even though I could come in Sandslash, my goal is I'm going to debuff this, so that way Sandslash is going to have an even easier matchup to close the game. Going straight for the Icy Wind, and we are able to get the shield. Charge move coming through, and we actually may be able to survive this because of the debuff. Yep, we can survive that really comfortably, and we're going for another Icy Wind. And since they only have the one Pokemon left, they have no way to reset their debuffs. So we're able to get both shields, and we quick swap into our Alolan Sandslash after farming up a bit of extra energy. And now we can start spamming out these Ice Punches, which are going to do a nice amount of damage. And as you can see, the Skarmory was trying to farm up a bunch because they were double debuffed, so they really needed Brave Birds, although even those wouldn't have taken us out because Sandslash is very, very hostile to the flyers in the meta. And we're hopping into the next game here. Sandslash into a Shadow Vic. So how does this line handle Shadow Victory Bell? Exceedingly well. Every single Pokemon on this team has a really good matchup against Shadow Victory Bell. So as those become more and more common, this is a line to keep in mind because it does handle those very well. They safe swap Obstagoon, and we come in with our Altaria. And we're going to go with our same strategy of not shielding the first one, and they actually don't commit a shield. This works out exceedingly well for us, as again, we're not going to shield, and we should be able to farm down. Now we're in a good spot where they don't really want to bring in their Shadow Vic, so they are going to bring in their Wigglytuff. Now I know all three of their Pokemon, and I'm going to be able to set up my alignment accordingly. I actually come in with the Sandslash here, because Sandslash is able to resist charms, and I am going to save the Drifblim for the Victory Bell and back. They actually do shield up the Gyro Ball, and now we're in a pretty good spot where we are going to commit a shield. And we're going to be over farming a ton of energy. They bring in the Victory Bell, we hold on to our energy, and we come in with Drifblim. And we're going to be going straight for the Icy Winds. These are going to be debuffing it, so those Razor Leafs do quite a bit less, and they do have to commit the shield because that would end up taking them out. And now we are really safe to commit a shield here. Ooh, they Acid Spray me. Brutal. I hate shield and Acid Sprays, but in this situation it works out just fine because we're able to take out the Victory Bell. 2 charms takes us down, but we do have an Ice Punch loaded, and that's going to be more than enough to take out the Wigglytuff and to give us the game. So as you can see there, against Shadow Victory Bell, which is a problem for a lot of lines, this line handles it exceedingly well. Hopping into, ooh, this is a really terrible lead for us in Marowak, and here we're actually swapping into Drifblim to see if we can entice them to stay in. And they do go for the Shadow Bone. We're over farming by quite a bit, and we are going to bait. So we're going to try and see if we can get the shield, and we get the shield, which is absolutely fantastic. Charge move coming through. This is going to be the Shadow Bone, so we are going to want to commit a shield. And we are going to go for the Shadow Ball, and this would be doing massive super effective damage and taking out the Marowak, and they do commit the shield. So now we are all shieldless, and they're going for a charge move, and this should be enough to take us out. Shadow Bone does take us out. Now we are going to wait, and we're going to come in with our Altaria. We are going to have to tank a charge move on the Altaria, but we are going to be able to farm down, and we'll have a decent amount of energy coming out of this match, which is really nice. We'll see what they have in the back. Oh, it's a Wigglytuff. Oh, this is unfortunate. Okay, so we're in a bit of a tough spot here. We are going to throw the Sky Attack, instant swap to Sandslash, and they have a Vigoroth. Oh, this is unfortunate. We are going for the Gyro Ball, as this will be doing a lot of damage. Unfortunately, not enough. They do go for the Body Slam, which is not the best. A bit of lag there, and we're going to come back in with Altaria. Our win condition at this point is we're hoping to be able to farm down and then get a Sky Attack off, but unfortunately we are not able to farm down. So we were close, but couldn't quite beat a Marowak lead there. We had a win condition, we saw it, but we just couldn't quite execute it, unfortunately. Hopping into the very next match, we pick up another Marowak lead. This is our chance to see if we have learned. We are going to swap into Drifblim, and they're going to swap into ALOLAN Golem. So this is a really hard punish to a Drifblim. We do get a shield with the Icy Wind, and we're going to go for another Icy Wind. And this is going to be able to debuff them quite significantly, and they don't have to shield it, but we were able to get a shield. And now we're going to come in with the Sandslash, because with the debuffs, the Golem can't really touch Sandslash. As you can see, that does basically nothing, and even with another charge move coming through, we really aren't worried. Rock Blast, that's fine, and we are going to throw right away just to take them out. We were able to take them out, and now we swap into Altaria, and they're going to bring out their own Altaria. So we are actually in an okay spot here. We are going to be throwing, and that does get shielded up, unfortunately. They're going to be throwing what's probably the Dragon Pulse, just in an attempt to kill us. It is the Dragon Pulse, yep. And we're going to go straight for the Sky Attack, because we don't want to take any more Dragon Breath damage than we have to. And that's going to be taking them out. And now we have a shield versus the Marowak. So long as we can outpace them to one Sky Attack before they get to 2 moves. Oh, they went for the Shadow Ball. No. They probably should have baited there, and we are able to get to the Sky Attack. So even with a Marowak lead, which is an extremely hard counter to our lead Pokemon, we were still able to get the win. Alright, we're hopping into the next match here, leading Sandslash into Altaria. This is a fantastic lead, and they actually safe swap Magneton. I wasn't quite sure what to do here, I'll be honest. This was the one time I've seen a Magneton all season. It's like, oh no. So we actually tank one charge move, and then I'm going to go in with Altaria, because this way those Magnet Bombs are going to be neutral. But as you can see, that did quite a bit of damage. We are going to go for the Sky Attack, even though it is resisted, just because Magneton is fairly glassy. And from here, we'll be able to shield up and farm down. So that was my goal, was not to kill, but just so we could get some extra farm on Altaria for when Altaria comes back. Yep, Altaria comes back. We're going for the Dragon Pulse, just so we can really punish if they decide not to shield. They do shield, of course. I'm going to farm down, but now we're in a really good spot here. We have Sandslash, and Sandslash has a decent amount of health on it, and Sandslash does resist all charge moves from Altaria. They safe swap into a Marowak, and we are going to come out with Drifblim, and one Shadow Ball is going to absolutely destroy Marowak. As you can see, shields down. Oh, absolutely deleted. And now all we have to do is commit a shield on Drifblim, and we'll be able to get to an Icy Wind, which is going to be more than enough to take out the Altaria. Unfortunately, we do overtap, but our opponent concedes the match. So that ended up working out really well. So really nice spice there with Magneton. Unfortunately, wasn't quite enough. Here we do get a Frostlass lead. And Frostlass, from what I've found, is a pretty good lead for this team. We do go for the Gyro Ball right away, just to see if we can connect. And we do. Oh my goodness. Absolutely shredding. Here I do commit a shield. Now I no longer commit shields there. I just let the Shadow Ball go, because now I actually have to safe swap because I had too much health. But we're able to bait out an Alolan Graveler. So by safe swapping, we were still able to bait out the Anti-Flyer, and we should be in a pretty good spot endgame. We're going straight for the Icy Wind. We are going to commit the shield because we do really want to A, debuff the Graveler, and B, start getting some of those shields. As you can see, the game does lag a bit. Come on, Niantic. It's not my internet. I've got good internet. And we're going straight for the Icy Wind. And this should be able to pressure that first shield. We do get the shield off of Graveler. And they're going to have to throw. And we are going to let this go. It's a Rock Blast. Unfortunately, doesn't quite take us out with the debuff. We're going to come in with Sandslash. They come in with Vigoroth. And we come in with Altaria. So now we have alignment back where we need it. We have the Vigoroth lined up with one of our flyers, and we have the Graveler is going to be lined up with our, lost my train of thought there for a moment. The Graveler is going to line up with our Sandslash. So we're in a really good spot. Unfortunately, they do have back-to-back charge moves here, but we actually do decide to let this go, purely because we can just Powder Snow down, and then we have extra energy, so we're going to be able to get to 2 Ice Punches on the Graveler, and that's going to be enough to take it out and give us the game. So even though they did have a very strong anti-flyer, we are able to bait it out and kill it with the Sandslash. So good game to my opponent there. We are able to take the game. Hopping to the next game against Soman, 1981. And of course, we are leading Sandslash into an Altaria. Again, a fantastic lead. If they stay in, they're usually trying to catch, so I hold on to my energy. They stay swap into a Wigglytuff. So I am going to go for the Gyro Ball, and it's shielded. How did they know? No one knows about Gyro Ball. Come on, man. I'm in pain. There we go. It lands. Perfect. You love to see it. They come in with Marowak. We are going to stay in and just let this go down, because from here, this is going to be a very straightforward match. We come in with our Altaria on the Marowak, and then we save the Drifblim for their Altaria. So from here, the game is pretty much over. They actually did shield 1 Gyro Ball. Credit to them. That's more than most people shield, but we were able to take it. They come in with Altaria, and we do a quick swap onto our Drifblim. We are going to shield this up because we do want to preserve some health on Drifblim, but we're in a really good spot to start spamming out those Icy Winds, and even 1 is going to be enough to take out Altaria. And they do commit the shield, and they do throw, so we are going to commit the shield here, and let's see if we can't manage to overfarm just a little bit. We do overfarm by 1 Hex, and we are going to throw the Icy, which is going to be enough to take them out. And since we overfarmed, we should be able to get to that Shadow Ball. Perfect. Able to get to the Shadow Ball. This is going to be more than enough to take out Marowak, and that does give us the game. So a very well played to my opponent, but we were able to take it, which is fantastic. Right, and as you can see, we did have some snowy weather, which is absolutely perfect for Holiday Cup. I did splice together some battles from a couple different days. All right, now we have a Frostlass lead, okay? We're going to be going straight for the Gyro Ball. Let's see if they know to shield it. Within the last day or two, there's been a couple more people shielding it, but most aren't, and it does so much damage. They do shield it. That's super unfortunate. We're still in a pretty good spot here because we can shield these avalanches, and we should be able to get to a 3rd Gyro Ball before they can burn both of our shields and be able to get to a move. You go for the 2nd Gyro Ball. That gets the shield. Unfortunately, my opponent makes a really good play here. They get my last shield, and then they aggressively swap in with Vigoroth, and I can't switch out fast enough, and they're able to delete my Sandslash and the energy. On the bright side, though, we have Drifblim, which absolutely destroys Vigoroth. Vigoroth does not have a hope or a prayer against Drifblim. Let's see if this is the match where they're throwing bulldozers. Nope, just Body Slam to start. But wait till the frustration sets in. You never know. Another Body Slam. Drifblim isn't worried. Not at all. Vigoroth, totally chilling. Another charge move comes through. And now we're just going to be farming up as much energy as possible because we are expecting the Vigoroth to be switching out here. So we are just over farming a ton. We're going to farm up to 100 energy and throw. They do a really, really nice catch onto their Frostlass where Icy is going to be resisted, but we have a Shadow Ball, so we don't have to take any damage from Frostlass. We can throw the Shadow Ball and take it right out, and we'll see what they have in the back. Since they're not bringing back Vigoroth, they have a Drifblim of their own. We're going to go in with Altaria, and this is going to be a tough match, I'll be honest. Icy Wind does a lot of damage. and we are able to get to the Dragon Pulse. It's debuffed, so this is not going to be enough to take it out, but it should get it quite low. They're over farming as much as they can, but I don't think they're at 2 Ices, and 1 Hex may be enough to take them out. We bring in our Drifblim, we're able to Hex down. Vigoroth comes back in with loaded energy, but again, it's a body slam. Oh, see? I told y'all. They went for the Bulldoze eventually. Bulldoze is gonna do nothing. Come on, man. Bulldoze does absolutely nothing. As you can see, the Vigoroth and Drifblim matchup almost timed out the game. And opponent is leading Dugong. So you might ask, what happens if you encounter the anti-flyer like an ice type up front? Well, even though Dugong is an ice water, so it's only taking neutral from the Gyro Balls, this is still a pretty solid matchup, because Gyro Ball is going to do quite a bit of neutral damage, even to a bulky Pokemon like Dugong. And as you can see, they're mainly going for Icy Winds, which is not what I'd recommend. If you're Dugong, you mainly want to go for Water Pulses, because 2 Water Pulses will come pretty close to taking us out. They're going the straight Icy Wind route, but as you can see, we are winning the war of attrition in terms of health after this Gyro Ball lands, and 1 more will be enough to take it out. So they actually do throw right here. Let's see if this is the Water Pulse. Yep, it's the Water Pulse that comes really close, doesn't take us out, and we're able to get to another Gyro Ball, and they do commit the shield. And at this point, I'm going to swap into Drifblim since I have both shields and see if I can pressure a shield with this Icy Wind. I am able to, and they throw a charge move of their own, so I am going to be committing a shield on the Icy Wind, and they bring out Altaria. I mean, I'm debuffed, but that's still not a great response, because even 2 debuffed Icy Winds can KO an Altaria since it is double weak. We are going to have to commit a shield, but we are going to be able to take it out, so we'll be in a really good spot here. Sky Attack coming through, we shield up, and this Icy Wind is going to be able to take out the Altaria. We still do have the Dugong to worry about, but okay, we're going to see, can't quite Hex down, but the Dugong should be out of energy. We're able to farm down with Altaria. Altaria is an ice counter confirmed, and they have a Vigoroth in back. And from here, this is going to be a fairly close matchup, but we should be able to take it. We go straight for the Sky Attack. Sky Attack is going to be doing a nice chunk of damage to Vigoroth, and then we'll just have to get to 1 more. As you can see, I did try and catch there. Unfortunately, the game did not let the catch go through, but we are able to get to another Sky Attack, and that's going to be enough to take care of Vigoroth and give us the game. So even if you do encounter something like a Dugong or Lapras up front, even if you have to go into a shield deficit, if you can kill it with your Sandslash, then your backline should be in a good spot to close. And this is just a fun battle. This is a ALOLAN Ninetales lead, and we're going straight for the Gyro Ball. Let's see what happens. Absolutely deletes it. And what do they have in the back? What hard punish do they have for Sandslash? Oh no, this is a triple charm team. Just judging on the fact that that's what they brought in, it's triple charm. I go for the bait since they know to respect the Gyro Ball. We do get the shield, which is fantastic. And even though they're more than likely going to be able to farm me down here, I am going to be able to get both shields. So I'm going to be in a really good spot. I get both shields, and before I go down, I'm able to get to an Ice Punch. So I get both shields, and I'm going to be able to take Wigglytuff almost out. As you can see, it's very low. And now I'm going to switch into Drifblim on the charge move to shield up. And we should be in a good spot, because the other Charmer is going to be Whimsicott. Oh no, Whimsicott. Yeah, so we're in a really good spot here. We are going to be able to hit back-to-back Icy Winds, and that's going to be able to take out the Whimsicott. Unfortunately, we are going to be charmed down by the Wigglytuff, but from here, we can use Altaria as a fairy counter. We're just going to have to shield once, and then we're going to be able to Dragon Breath down and take the game. As you can see, this team, I've been really enjoying it. It's been an absolute blast. I have been doing a lot of mean teams and stuff, so my rating's been up and down, but as I mentioned, I gained 600 points in 5 days, and I'm almost to expert. So I have been really, really enjoying this team. Again, big shout out to Galactica Bolton for creating this team. This team has worked exceedingly well for me. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this video informative. If you enjoy this type of analysis content, definitely feel free to hit that subscribe button. It's free and it does help out the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video.